They believed their midnight meeting was destiny's accident, but destiny rarely makes mistakes. Tonight, the shadows would speak louder than words. The city had not changed since that night, yet everything felt different. The neon signs still flickered with restless energy. The streets still smelled of smoke and rain. And the silence still pressed against the walls of empty alleys. But something invisible had shifted, for him. Her presence had left an imprint on the night itself. He could no longer walk those streets without seeing her face, half lit by the white glow of a lonely street lamp. For her. His voice lingered the way he had said. Because the night brought me to you, it was not a line. Not a game. It was something deeper. And that scared her more than the darkness. She wasn't supposed to be out there again? Not tonight. Not after what she felt the last time. Yet there she was, walking alone past the very street where their eyes had first collided. Her mind told her to go home, but her heart dragged her forward. And in the same shadows, he was there, waiting, watching, wondering if she would come again. The silence of the city was broken by a whisper, faint, sharp, like a secret carried by the wind. She froze. It wasn't his voice. It wasn't hers. It came from the alley beside them. Do you hear that? She asked. Her words caught between fear and curiosity. He stepped closer, his eyes scanning the darkness. Someone is here. The sound of footsteps followed, hurried and uneven, as if someone was running, but didn't want to be heard. The woman's breath caught. This wasn't just an empty night. Someone was watching them. He moved instinctively, placing himself between her and the shadows, not because he wanted to play the hero, but because something inside him refused to let harm touch her. Then, just as suddenly as it started, the footsteps stopped. The alley returned to silence, heavy and suffocating. But the feeling of being watched didn't fade. Why do I feel like the city itself is alive tonight? She whispered. Because it is, he replied. His voice was low, steady, and it doesn't want us here. They began walking again, this time together, not side by side, but close enough that their arms brushed every few steps. The night air was cold. Yet between them there was a warmth neither could explain. She glanced at him, her eyes searching for answers. Who are you? Really? He paused before answering. Someone who doesn't belong here. Someone who should have disappeared a long time ago. His words were vague, but his tone carried weight. She wanted to ask more, but the city around them demanded silence. Sometimes silence was safer than truth. Still, she couldn't stop herself. Then why are you still here? He looked at her, and for the first time his eyes softened. Because you are. Her chest tightened. It wasn't love, not yet. It was something stranger, deeper, like their souls had recognized each other before their minds did. They turned a corner, and that's when they saw him. At the far end of the street, under the dim orange glow of a broken lamp, stood a figure, motionless, watching. Her grip on his arm tightened. Who is that? He didn't answer. He stepped forward, his body tense, ready. The figure didn't move, didn't speak. He just stood there, his face hidden in shadows. And then, as if deciding they weren't worth the effort, the figure turned and vanished into the darkness. But the fear didn't vanish with him. It grew. Because both of them knew strangers don't just stand and watch at midnight. Not unless they were waiting for something. Or someone. They found refuge in an abandoned cafe. The place smelled of dust and memories. But it was quiet. Away from the eyes of the city. She sat at a table, her hands trembling slightly. He stood by the window, his silhouette framed by the faint moonlight. Finally, she broke the silence. You scare me. His head turned, his gaze sharp. Why? Because I don't know you. Because the world outside feels dangerous when you reign near, and yet I feel safer with you than I've ever felt before. For a moment, he didn't respond. Then, slowly, he walked toward her, each step echoing in the empty caf. He leaned closer, his voice barely above a whisper. Then, maybe the danger is not outside. Maybe it's right here, between us. Her breath caught. His words were not a warning, they were a confession. Just as their silence thickened into something unspoken, glass shattered. A rock flew through the caf window, landing on the floor with a sharp crack. They both jumped to their feet. Outside, the shadows moved again. Someone was there. More than one. He grabbed her hand without thinking. We have to leave. They ran back into the night, the city swallowing them whole. Behind them, faint laughter echoed, cold, cruel, mocking. Whoever was watching them wasn't done. The city had made its choice. Tonight, they were no longer strangers crossing paths. They were targets. They stopped under the same street lamp where their eyes had first met. Both breathless, both shaken. Her voice trembled. Tell me the truth. What is happening? Why us? He looked at her, his jaw clenched, his eyes burning with secrets he wasn't ready to share. Because midnight doesn't just bring lovers, he whispered. It brings enemies too. And before she could respond, a voice from the shadows called her name. The past he tried to bury has found them. And this time, the night won't let them escape.